Hey, didn't see you there. I was just picking up and reading a new book, Hate That Cat. I was thinking about reading this aloud to you guys moving forward as we kick off our poetry unit. Would you like to read a little bit of Hate That Cat with me? What was that? You would? Well, awesome. Let's get it started. Fun fact, Hate That Cat is a companion novel to Love That Dog. Seems like that would make sense since the titles are pretty similar, right? So that means they go hand in hand. They have a lot in common. They're even written by the same author. So I'm going to read a little bit to you. And as we know, it's the companion novel. It kind of goes along with Love That Dog. I want you to read and see if you can find any similarities and differences between this story so far and what we remember from Love That Dog. I'll give you a second if you want. You could even make a Venn diagram with the circles and all that good stuff. You could do that on your paper and jot that down while I'm reading as well. So this is Hate That Cat by Sharon Creech. We're going to start off right at the beginning. We know that this book is not split in chapters. It's split more by dates with those poems. So here is what we have. This first one is called Jack, room 204, Miss Stretchberry, September 12th. I hate that cat like a dog hates a rat. I said, I hate that cat like a dog hates a rat. Hate to see it in the morning. Hate to see that F-A-T black cat. I'm noticing the date. The date is September 13th. Sorry, I didn't know you like cats. Didn't know you have one. September 14th. More poetry? You probably think, well, we will remember what we learned last year, right? What if we don't remember? What if our brains shrunk? What if it's too hard? But I'm glad you're my teacher again. I hope you will keep moving up a grade every year along with me. You understand my brain. Now that date makes sense. I remember the last story kind of took us through the school year. So I'm like, why are we back at September? Is this another student named Jack in Miss Stretchberry's class? That didn't seem reasonable, but now I see. Jack has looped with his teacher. He has gone on to the next grade and got to keep his teacher. How cool. September 19th. No, I can't write anymore about my dog Sky. Maybe all the words about Sky flew off out of my head last year. I think about him all the time and I see him in my mind. And some of his yellow fur is still on my yellow chair. And sometimes I think I hear him. That's the sound he made when he was happy. But no, I can't write about Sky. A-N-Y-M-O-R-E. Maybe I could write about a cat, a mean cat, a crazy, mean, fat, black cat. Although my Uncle Bill, who is a teacher in a college, says those words I wrote about Sky were not poems. He said they were just words coming out of my head and that a poem has to rhyme and I have to have regular meter and symbols and metaphors and onomatopoeia something and alliter something. And I want to punch him. Wow, Jack. I think Jack is taking a little bit of ownership for his poems here. And he's like, excuse me, Uncle Bill. This is poetry. And we know, you and I know, poetry doesn't have to rhyme. Someone needs to teach Uncle Bill a few things, if you ask me. September 21st. Another thing Uncle Bill said was that my line should be longer, like in real writing. But here's what happens when I try to make them longer. The page is too wide and the words get all mumbled jumbled and it makes my eyes hurt and all that white space at the edge of the page so far away. And in order to get all the words down that are coming out of my head, I have to forget the commas and the periods, or I have to go back and stick them in all over the place like this, which looks, if you ask me, stupid. But if you write short lines, a person knows where to breathe, short or long. And I hate to read those long lines, and I don't want to write them either. I see what he's saying about commas. When he doesn't write with commas, I'm like, ooh, I can't catch my breath. September 26th. I wish you would tell my Uncle Bill all those things you said today about our rhymes and our own images bouncing around in our words and making them poems. And yes, I understand that even if I am ever the president of the United States, I might be expected to write very, very long lines. But in the meantime, I can make my lines short, short, short if I want to. But even if you told my Uncle Bill all that stuff, he wouldn't believe you. He likes to argue. My mother likes my short lines. She runs her fingers down them and then taps her lips once, twice. And I think I understood what you said about onomatopoeia something and alliter something not having to be in a poem, and how sometimes they enrich a poem, but sometimes they can also make a poem sound purple. Purple! That's a little confusing to me. Make the poem sound purple. Make the poem sound purple. I'm kind of wondering, like, what association does Jack have with the color purple? That would make it a poem sound like a color. October 3rd. Okay. I will learn how to spell alliteration and onomatopoeia, right? And I will practice them just in case I ever need them to enrich something. Ready? I can't do it. Brain frozen. First, you need to have something to write about. You can't just alliterate and onomatopoeiate all over the place, can you? October 10th. I felt like there were feathers in my brain when you brought up those objects and we practiced doing alliteration on them, like with the purple pickle and the polished pencil and the chocolate chalk. But the pickle was not purple and the pencil was not polished and the chalk was not chocolate. So my Uncle Bill would probably say we are wrong, even though it is fun to imagine a purple pickle, a polished pencil, and chocolate chalk. So I like that he's kind of like telling us he learned alliteration and then showing us what it is, right? That's that repetition of that first sound. All right, one more. October 12th, right here. Something I'm wondering, if you cannot hear, do words have no sounds in your head? Do you see a silent movie? Huh. Do you ever wonder something weird like that, or something that like makes you think a little bit? Interesting thoughts of Jack now that we're seeing him an entire year later. So thanks for listening. I hope you have some ideas about Jack so far. We have an idea of Jack of how he was in the year previous to this. And now we know he's moved along. He has the same teacher and he's doing poetry again. How do you think he's feeling starting this year off with poetry versus how he felt in his last school year doing poetry? I feel like he's in a little bit of a better space, but he still has some roadblocks in his way. What do you think?